Today I'm going to show you how we extract honey in our brand new honey house with our brand new Thomas Apiculture equipment. Hello, I'm Griffiths, welcome to Winning Griffith. Here we talk everything beekeeping, farming, countryside living, and we do reviews. Now I'm in the honey house with Andy here.
Hello everybody.
And we have just made a little start on the honey extracting. Now we're going to be extracting honey now every week until we finish. We've started. Today's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, and all of next week. And then unfortunately we got to go back to feeding. And hopefully a big chunk of the honey extracting is going to be done. Nowhere near finishing, but we reckon we're going to be. This is going to be 75 times faster than the old way. Is that what we said?
4 times faster. Yeah.
Four times faster, which, yeah, same thing. Yeah. 4 times faster than the way we used to do it. And the way we used to do it was, and this tank is still in here, my trusty Carl-Fritz Apiculture. Now, Carl-Fritz made me a custom stand. This is now on wheels. So we still uncup some frames, like the commercial frames, and lang stuff into that. Because if you've got an automatic uncapper or a line or anything like that, it likes to take one type of frame. And basically, this is designed for national frames, nothing else, so we just keep it at that. Basically, 90 whatever percent, 95% plus will be uncapped in the machine. The rest then will still be uncapped in here. So basically what will then happen, stuff that's uncapped in here obviously will just go straight into the extractor. With any kind of automatic uncapper, some frames it does perfect, it takes it all off, others it doesn't. So what we've got to do now, when we make supers, we got to have stuff on castellations, so they build the wax out nice and thick. So basically, we won't have any uncapping to do. But I've watched these big guys on YouTube with a big line, and they still got to scrape the frames on this table. So there's a prime example. That hasn't done an excellent job at uncapping. But look how thin the frame is. There's no wax sticking out, so you know it's not going to be able to reach. Then you go to something like this, which was a little bit fatter. It's done an excellent job. That one was a bit like there's nothing left to scrape on that. Perfect, and so on. So we've got to change stuff around to fit this. So everything's going to be on castellations moving forward to get that nice thick wax. So the wax is actually sticking out more than the timber basically, and we'll get a clean cut on this. Honey, as you can see, is dripping down this table down into there. The extractor spinning runs into the sump as well. Now if you watched the honey house tour video, this was actually set up different. Now I set it up wrong, and Thomas told me, Griff, you set it up wrong. And you know, how am I supposed to know? I have not seen kit like this before being used. And depending on whatever kit you go, everyone is run a little bit different. So with this, there's no wax press or anything, but there's a basket down there. Steel basket, and there's a nylon bag in there. The cappings all build up in there. So there's runny honey and cappings. As the machine's running, it's straining into the sump. That's the honey extractor running into the sump as well. Now when the cappings is full, we grab this little tool. You hook the basket. It comes up. There'll be no basket in there, and basically that goes in there, and you can lift it. Put it in the spinner. Now this spinner, just like a honey extractor, uses centrifugal force, spins the cappings down really, really fast. The honey then comes out, back into the sump, and you basically, from a full basket of cappings, you're left with something like that. Just wax around the side with a little bit of honey. That cappings is then thrown into the Swienty Apiculture over there, and we run that for wax. And there's not that much honey then to collect or capture from there, because we've used this machine to spin that honey out cold without any kind of heat. So this works really, really good. And we've got 1 cage, 2 cage, and a 3rd cage. So it doesn't matter how much we extract this is never a bottleneck because we've got cages we can just keep filling. The sump then basically filters all the honey, and you can see the wax in there, and you can see the honey in there now. There's an automatic float valve there. Once that goes up a tiny bit, that's then going to pump the honey from there and then into the tank, and you can see we just started, so there's only maybe 6 inches of honey in the bottom there. But for the sake of this video, I might just turn turn this on manual, because I guarantee what's going to happen is when that spinner's running, this pump's going to kick on and we're not going to know. So she's on pumping this way, she's on auto at the minute. We're just going to turn that into manual. The pump kicks on. Honey now is being sucked, you can't really see it there, but if we come in here, honey's being pumped out. Into the tank. Now, using this manually is fine, but you got to be careful you don't run the pump dry. That's why this is basically on an automatic setup. You can see that now going down really fast. This is again a Thomas pump, a very powerful one. Pumps a lot of honey, easy. Now when this tank is full, there's 350 kilos of honey in there. Just turn this back on automatic, and like that there's no mistakes. Now I have got an alarm system. We're gonna click on this, so when the honey gets too high, the alarm lets us know, you know, down tools, start bucketing, so we don't have any accidents. And that is basically the setup. It is super compact. It's basically everything is Thomas basically, apart from the trusty Carl-Fritz Apiculture. That was one of the first bits of really good bits of kit that I bought, and I will never sell that. That's got too much sentimental value, and it's still being used. It's an excellent mini Apiculture. But this kit, I tell you what, I'm so impressed with it. It is excellent quality. I'm very pleased with the purchase, very pleased with the quality of everything, and I mean, excellent. Now we have bolted, that's what I was going to show, we have bolted everything down. So you've got a bolt on everything, and there's a rubber mat. So we got 3mm reinforced rubber underneath all the legs. Thomas told me that's a really good thing to do, so we have got that. Basically that spinner has to be bolted down or you can't use it. Anything else I want to say in here? The electrics wasn't there when you were last, when we did the tour video. Now this is telescopic, so we can use the plugs anywhere, but basically that's up there, out the way, so this is now clear to walk. Before the cable was cutting across, and that's no good. And that is it basically. There's nothing left to show you guys apart from it actually working, which I suppose is the best part of the video. Right then, Andy, let's fire it up.
So we have filled this extractor up with 54 frames. That's what this takes, 54 frames. And we just close the lid, nice and simple. There we go, hear it click. We've got it set on a nearly 15-minute cycle. And it's gonna run up to just under speed 7. It doesn't start initially at speed 7, it ramps itself up so it doesn't tear itself apart straight away and the frames don't get smashed. It just gradually builds up and builds up. And it's nice and simple, just start. So in a second that'll start to spin. And in 15 minutes time, this will be done. We'll take the lid off and we'll start taking dry frames out of here. As you can see already it's starting to build up in speed. Like I said, you don't want it to be too quick initially because the frames are really heavy, so you want them to just gently increase in speed, otherwise you tear those frames apart. You'll start to see it splash against the walls now. The tap's open on the extractor as well, so it's going to start running out all by itself while it's extracting. And it's going to head over into the sump.
She's running full speed now. And it's pouring out. No vibration, super smooth, like it should. So the spinner's just finished and we've uncapped, well, just that much now while it's been running. We're going to swap this cage out for the sake of this video. It's not 100% full yet, but I just want to show you guys how it works. Scoop that off and get a little bit of drips, not a lot. And you got to make sure it's sitting in there right. There it is. Close this unit back up. And there's a little clasp on the side there that holds that in place. And then basically with this machine, it's not an automatic pre-programmed one like the one down there. We're gonna run it on number 1 to begin with. And you'll hear this just starting to turn. And there's a lot of honey up in this system now. Tank's about quarter full. Sump has to be kicking on and off with the pump as we've been extracting. Now the honey in here is all going to come out of there. So 1 isn't fast enough, so we're going to turn it up into 2. This machine you really got to be careful with. You don't want this vibrating out of control. It's very, very, very powerful. once she's running like that, we tend to leave it at that kind of speed. And if you give that a little moment, you'll see the honey coming out of it already. And when that's been in, empty cage goes back in. And we just keep going. We'll keep spinning. No need to stop.
So I have just heard that the pump kicked on. I could hear it go in the corner of the room. So there's a float valve here, this blue float valve. Obviously it's risen up because of the volume of honey in the sump. And so that is connected to this pump, and the pump automatically kicks on when that float valve rises. So it's coming through these pipes up into here. Look at that running out now. So quite a bit more honey than maybe we had earlier today. And we've still got quite a lot. There's another pallet from this apiary still to do. And we've got this stuff left from that apiary as well.
Right, well, that is our brand new Thomas Apiculture setup in here. Super compact. I love how you've got a big extractor tied up to an uncapping machine. You've got the spinner, which is the capping spinner, which is running now, and these three units feed into one honey sump, gets filtered, and then pumped along that 350 kilo tank. It is super compact. Takes, I suppose, a lot less space than a line. You wouldn't get a line in here. If we had a line, it'd have to be a lot longer. But I'm glad we didn't go for a line. Number one, we've got frames. Look at that, that's commercial. So that won't fit in there at all. And once you go with a line, you're basically, you've got to go to one step or one type of frame and stick with it. We've got Langstroth nukes, we've got some bees on Langstroth, we've got a load of commercial super cheap. Probably we've got about 50 of them in the honey farm. Well, we don't want to just get rid of them. They're still really, really valuable to us. But this allows us to do the national frames, and then this and that allows us to do any frame. And the honey ends up in one place, gets pumped in. I think it's excellent for us. Now, if you were starting fresh and you were going to go with only one type of frame size, then a line would very much make sense to you. But if, like me, you've been beekeeping over 10 years with no line, and you've got all these different size frames in your system, then a line is basically impossible. And another downside with a line is, say there's a lot of moving parts on any kind of uncapper, things do break eventually, even if it is Thomas, you know, and you can get even a Cohen, one of those American nice ones. Things break, there's a lot of moving parts, eventually you're going to have a little breakdown, and you just got to change a part to get it going again. Well, if that happens on this machine, honey production doesn't stop, because we're still uncapping here. Where if something breaks on a line, and it could just be a 20 pound, 10 pound part, then the whole day you've got to stop, because the whole system's finished. With this, we haven't got that problem. So that's our system, that's what we were trying to go for. I'm very, very pleased with it. You're pleased, Andy?
Really pleased, yeah, great.
You won't be in the honey house now till
February.
Yeah. We'll be finished. Feeding is going to slow us down, because we've done apart from one site, we'll probably do a video on that. There's a tree come down, we can't get in there to do second feeds. Andy's second fed everything. There'll be no feeding next week, apart from the one where the tree is down. Me and Andy got to go in there with chainsaws and clear it. The week after, it'll be third rounds of feeding, and then once feeding's done, then we can probably have 4 solid weeks in here, the two of us, as long as there's not too much honey to jar. But even if I'm jarring, I'm only jarring in there, we'll get this done easily, I reckon, in a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be.
A month plus, not counting what we're doing now, I think. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Touch wood, no breakdowns. The kit is going excellent. The only little niggle we did have the gap there was too big, and I took a video, sent it to Thomas. They told me unslack this bolt, push it 3mm, and it's been perfect ever since. Obviously we're still learning. There's going to be some teething issues with any new machine, but so far I'm very, very pleased. Very, very pleased. The old system we could only do maybe, well, when you were by yourself, 24 was the best you done in a day.
You're absolutely flat out.
Because once the honey spinner was going, you couldn't uncap anymore. You just literally had to sit with the machine and watch it spin. Now there's no downtime. That's spinning, we're still uncapping. Honey, who start bucketing, put honey and cappings in the spinner. There's no downtime anymore. So just by having that system makes it way, way, way faster. And you know, we're not a massive honey farm, but we're not a small honey farm. We're probably average size. Once you become more than small, you've got to start thinking about getting better kit, good quality kit that's going to save you time, and the kind of kit that's going to last a lifetime. And that's what all this is. We've bought this now, we won't have to buy it again. Well, let me know in the video, what do you think of this system? Do you like it? Would you change anything to it? And I suppose the beauty of this is we can always add or take away items from this setup, unlike a line. Once you've got a line, that is it. We can change stuff around in here. It's totally interchangeable and customizable the way we want to run things in the future. For example, if we want to have a needling machine, the needling machine can go there and it can be fed into there. No problem. Let me know in the comments. We'll see you in the next video.
Goodbye now, guys.